Okay, the Inspire calculation policy. The Maths Working Party has devised a new calculation policy, and the teachers are incorporating these new aspects within their teaching, which you can also use at home when your child is completing their homework. Here is our overview for the years, and this has been changed because of the content missed from the previous year group during lockdown. And this is an overview of how we would teach in our autumn, spring and summer. As you can see, we start off with place value and we end with the consultation period, where any aspects that the children have misunderstood, we can go back and have time to do that. But in saying that, for instance, if the children do not understand place value, we don't move on until they have a clear grasp of those concepts. So these are called our key performance indicators, and these are what the children need to know by the end of year 3. As you can see, there's a year 2 KPI, which has been highlighted in yellow, and that is to take into the account that during the lockdown, they would have not experienced or been exposed to that adding and subtracting. And down the bottom is a website that you can look at some of the materials, which are small steps with addition and subtraction, which you can use to support your child with their homework. Okay, so with our vocabulary addition and subtraction, you will probably hear the children say for addition, an add-in plus an add-in equals the sum. And as you can see, that it's represented in different ways. So you have your pictorial and you will have your actual written calculation. Okay, so with the multiplication, we have multiplier, multiplicand and the product. And with division, we have dividend, divisor and quotient. Okay, so for our year 3 addition, we would start off with the concrete material, the pictorial, and then what we call the abstract. Okay, and we use a variety of different concepts with the addition as well. So we have part whole models, we have a bar model, and we also have the column method, which you'll probably see when you've looked in your children's books, or you would see part of their homework. Okay, so our teaching sequence, we start off with a pre-assessment. So we look at where the children are able to have a clear concept of the teaching sequence or certain aspects of that concept in the teaching part, and it also gives us an idea of how we then differentiate for those children during their learning process, or if we need to make sure that there's more challenge for those children that have a clearer concept. Okay, so here is the concrete materials. So we either use place value counters or deans, and as you can see, we have the place value holders, the hundreds, tens and ones. And then this is our pictorial method, where they actually see the pictures represented from the concrete onto the abstract. And we don't move on to the abstract until they have a clear understanding of that learning journey, to make sure it is clear for those children. Within our maths learning sequence, we also have within our abstract elements, we have reasoning prompts to allow the children to use and apply knowledge and skills. So they would have, for instance, a calculation, and then they need to explain step by step how they carried out that calculation, and they would use the vocabulary, for instance, for add-in and for sum. They would talk about the place value holder of the numerals, and then they would talk about if they had to regroup the sum. And then another aspect is that we would give them a calculation and they would then carry out and write their own word problem for that calculation. One of the most important elements of our teaching sequence is to have aspects for real life, which is linked to the curriculum. So Aria's friends collected 256 plastic bags from Morrison's and 110 bags from Aldi. What was the total of bags collected by his friends? So they have a relation with the book that we've read in English, which was Garbage Guts. And then we will talk about the vocabulary. So how do we know that we're adding, because we need to find what the total is, and they're exposed to those elements of the different ways that people word addition. And we also have within that teaching sequence the actual word problem, but we also have it using communication in print for those children, that it makes it easier for them to understand using the pictorial part alongside the words. Okay, learning your times tables. It is a crucial element for maths. For everything that they learn, they need to know their times tables, especially from year 3 upwards. So I've put a site in there for you. It's called Maths Frame, and which is very much the same concept of how they would do their multiplication test in year 4. So myself and Miss Cornell, we would be using this to enhance children's understanding of their times tables, and you can change the time of how long the seconds are to answer the questions and so forth. So give it a go. The children do know how to use it. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions concerning the parent workshop, you can send an email to the office, and these will be then forwarded to the class teacher. I thank you, and I hope this has been helpful. And by all means, our calculation policy is on the website, which will show you those small steps of their learning within their learning journey for maths. Thank you very much for participating.